long time.
Almost? Is it almost there? Close enough. Screw it. We're good. Howdy, howdy, howdy. Welcome back to Sidetrack, your sci-fi TV and movie channel. I'm not in charge today on the live stream. Nope. I'm keeping quiet. I'm going. Greg the Ghoul is in charge now.
What's up, guys? Greg the Ghoul here from Fallout Fridays and the Radical Wastelanders podcast here on Sidetrack. Please check us out every other Friday. Harris and I are having a good time there talking about life in the wasteland. Today I am privileged to actually have my first stream here with Mr. Stormbear. Very excited to actually officially be on a stream with you, sir. So,
Greg, it's so good to finally meet you off of Facebook.
Right? For real. So today we are going to have a battle for the ages. It's the rumble in the jungle. It's the thriller in Manila. It is the age-old debate. Which is better, Star Trek or Star Wars?
And I've already won, look, because the stupid
Star
Americans
Wars.
Already ran off crying.
Yeah.
Oh, I was just muting the TV in the other room. Oops.
Yeah. We thought he was so scared that he was already fleeing. So I am an unbiased and completely neutral arbiter in this event today.
I would question that, sir, because didn't we have to ask you to redo the questions? Because
at least he's leveling out the bias. He has a Chewbacca mug. He's leveling out the bias. He comes from a Trekkie basis, but he's Chewy right now. I like it.
I used to work for a company that made Star Wars shit, so that's another reason why I'm like, anyway. But today it is Star Trek versus Star Wars. Let's get a quick straw poll going in the chat here, guys. Which do you believe is the better franchise, Star Trek or Star Wars? Let's go on ahead and start letting us know. Never.
While we're at it, good morning, everybody. Good afternoon.
Good morning. Good morning. Good afternoon, wherever you are.
Yeah.
So now, who is representing which here? Jamie, you're representing Star Trek? Jamie will be debating in favor of Star Trek. Harris will be debating in favor of Star Wars. And yes, this is one of our standard Sidetrack debates. We're going to do 4 rounds of questions, and then also Stormy's got trivia. And then we're going to let them have a 2-minute free-for-all.
I'm shitting it. He's done this before, and the questions were a nightmare. So I'm genuinely worried about the critique.
We don't know what they are either. There's no we know the debate questions, so we can prepare, but the quiz, we're screwed, dude.
No, this is going to be fun. I'm very excited. Seeing some Star Trek love in here. Loving it. Good to see. By the way, Subspace Rhapsody, I mean, as a musical theater nerd, Subspace Rhapsody is perhaps one of the greatest pieces of Star Trek television ever written. So I loved it. All right. Well,
I nearly fell off my chair then. I'll just throw shit at the fucking...
Yeah, Jay is suddenly regretting having me involved in this. So, all right.
Fired.
Do we want to just dive on in, gents?
Please.
I say let's go for it. We just hit
Fantastic.
5. Let's do it.
Let the blood flow.
Let the blood flow. Yes, blood for the blood god. Give me. I'm looking for a coin. Oh, you know what? Here.
Very fair and dignified. When I ran this.
Yes. Oh no, I take my adjudicating very, very seriously. So, Jay, your channel. You get to call heads or tails. All right.
Heads.
It is.
What was it?
Oh,
for the love of God!
I don't even fucking know.
Well.
Third time's a charm.
That's tails.
Hey, let's go chasing some tails.
It was the first time.
So, it was tails the first time too, but I didn't want to call it. So,
Fair enough.
All right. So, Harris, would you like to go first or last?
I'll go last.
All right. So, in that case, we're going to have a 2-minute timer here. We're going to start with opening statements. Jay, please give us your opening argument as to why Star Trek is the superior franchise. Your timer starts now.
First of all, I'm going to say I am not going to sit here and argue that the first Star Wars trilogy wasn't iconic, because it was. And you could also argue it actually saved Star Trek, because if it wasn't for the success of Star Wars, we might not have got Star Trek the Motion Picture. I am going to argue, though, that everything since has been meh, and that actually Star Wars does not have the depth of Star Trek. Star Wars is brilliant at selling toys. Oh, it can sell a toy. But that's about it. It's lightsabers and Millennium Falcon and stories that you forget very quickly. Whereas Star Trek actually inspired an entire generation of scientists. It actually changed the planet. It actually had storylines that meant something. The original series, first interracial kiss on television, it battled against racism. And then going into the newer Star Trek, TNG, Voyager, not the Kurtzman stuff. We'll pretend that doesn't exist for the in terms of this debate. And if you bring up Kurtzman, Harris, you're just a coward. So just don't. Thank God for that. In the original series, you had a Russian on the bridge at the height of the Cold War. This franchise was brave. It had something to say, and it said it. And Star Wars isn't even science fiction. It shouldn't even call itself a science fiction franchise, and it doesn't. It's fantasy. Why? Because it's crap and doesn't have any real scientific sort of underline to it at all. It's basically a 2-hour advert for whatever toy they want to bring out next. And that is as much as Star Wars will ever be.
Woo, strong
I give
words.
up my time, whatever's left.
That is time.
Oh, by the way, it's also shit.
Woo, strong words, strong words. That's a very, very passionate opening, full chest from Jay to start it out. Harris.
I'll keep using the wrong hand.
Well, most of my debate answers actually tend to be about how nice and good Star Wars has been over time. There has been some vitriolic stuff as of late, of course, but Star Trek has been that way for far longer and gave us the example to do that. That big brother of the gatekeeping, high and mighty, literally everything that y'all just listened Jamie say about Star Trek over all the other, not just Star Wars, but over even fantasy. It's not good because it has fantasy. You can't have imagination and creativity. It has to be stuck here. What is that gatekeeping doing to the scientific community of science fiction where we have fun? It's not fun anymore with Star Trek. It never has been about fun with Star Trek. It's been about proven points, wagging your finger in people's faces, and it's never been about actually inspiring people to do good things. That's been a beautiful byproduct of it, but it's been about making points and doing things that just aren't there for your average Joe to enjoy. And to gatekeep the people that watch it as well is kind of a disservice to the entire genre itself. And it's just really disappointing to see, and it always has been disappointing to see. It's never been a good – there's no good jumping on point to it. Me jumping into the Star Trek journey is kind of – I guess proven that. Everyone's got a different apple for you. You got two options with Star Wars, prequel or OG, you know? And one way or another, it's an inspiring story that has much more depth than you'll give it merit for. And it inspires not just a generation of scientists, but nearly every single person on this planet has Star Wars something across their eyeballs, which means number-wise, numerically, it's there. And it inspires children. It inspires generations of people, not just adults that are jaded and can figure out the scientific problems about something. It inspires children to be better and gives them an actual foothold in how in doing so. And, hey, you can be really good and think you're really good, but there's also a cautionary tale in trying to be good all the time.
And that's time. Harris, that's time. Thank you.
God, that was a load of nonsense.
When you hear Led Zeppelin, that is your time. Just FYI. So,
I love it. I love it.
It's my cooking timer. All right. Well, damn. Strong arguments out the gate. I'm, I was expecting nothing less, but the gloves came right off in both opening statements. We are, the fighters aren't even bothered with a feeling out period, folks. They're already swinging heavy right from the jump. So
I felt Harris up years ago.
How many years ago? I was a child just 7 ago.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna get into the first question for debate, and then after that, Stormy's gonna start dropping some trivia bombs on these guys, and they are not prepared.
No.
This will be. Oh shit. He's got. Okay. Yeah. This is gonna get good. All right. Well, our first question. Harris, since you did since you responded second, you're gonna get the first round on the first question here. Okay.
Okay.
The question for round one is: which franchise has had the greatest influence on our society, and how? Okay.
Good luck.
All right. 2 minutes starts now.
All right. Well, first off, got to give Star Trek its props. Star Trek is first and foremost. It has the staying power of time, mostly because Star Wars helped it with that staying power, of course. But it has that staying power. It is a wonderful franchise, nonetheless, because it does inspire people to do good things. Now, is it open to everybody to be inspired? Not necessarily. That's a different debate question. This one's about the greater influence overall, which I don't think is much of a question because numerically, eyes have been on Star Wars. Like I just said in the opening statement, there's almost not a soul on this planet that hasn't had Star Wars something in front of their face at some point. Star Trek is up there. It just doesn't hold a candle to the numbers there. So influence-wise, strictly numerically, Star Wars. It might not be 60, 70 years old now, but it's 50 years old, and it's gotten much larger numbers. Even the last Star Wars film that nobody really liked, at the end of the day, did twice almost the numbers of what JJ's first Star Trek film did when he did. And that was just the most recent examples to go off of. I'm not saying either one are the best examples to use. But nonetheless, the amount of offshoots that Star Wars has created, almost everything has been, I mean, of course, Seven Samurai to lead that into it, but almost everything's been a Star Wars shoot off since then. Star Trek's done some Star Wars-y type of things every now and then. So many other sci-fi franchises and other fantasy franchises, space opera franchises, whatever, you name it, they gather and garner from Star Wars to tell their stories. And it's also been fan films galore, largest fan film base of anything there is on the planet. Not to mention, Comic-Cons are super Star Wars centric. The nerdiest people on this planet are almost a third Star Wars all the time. It's Marvel, Star Wars, and everybody else.
Sorry,
All right.
nonsense.
5 seconds left. You got anything else?
No, that's it.
All right. Then you yield your time. Okay. Well, then in that case, Jay, same question for you. Which franchise has had the greater influence on our society and how? Your time starts. Let me reset my timer. Should have had that ready. My fault. Bad moderator. Here we go. Go.
Because Star Trek is actually sci-fi, and it's actually based with science at its core, it is actually inspired an entire generation of people that went on then to become scientists. Do you like using your mobile phone? Well, the guy that invented it said he was inspired by Star Trek to do it. We don't just have that, though, no. We have... Scientists have actually figured out how to do warp drive, and they've said it's now no longer a point of science, it's a point of engineering. They know exactly how to do it, they just don't know the engineering to do it. Teleportation is now a thing, kind of. And we have things like hyposprays. We have real world stuff from Star Trek that now exists in the real world, and they've been saving lives ever since. But not just that. This Muppet earlier, and I do love you, by the way, but I'm going to call you names for the next hour or so. This Muppet earlier said that Star Trek has no positivity. Doesn't it inspire positivity? That's all Star Trek does. It is literally a show about the ideal of what humanity can be, of what we are able to do on our best day. It has inspired an entire generation to try and do better. And Star Wars hasn't done that. It's entertaining. It's got a brilliant... And I tell you what, it's got a fantastic toy line. But other than that, it has never influenced society other than in like the way it was made. Star Trek has, when we do the memes thing later, Star Trek has influenced society in a million different ways, but it's actually also inspired and changed society for the better. It was the first show to talk about racism in any real way back in the 60s. It was the first show to talk about the Cold War in any real way. And TNG, Voyager, Deep Space Nine carried on that tradition. Star Wars doesn't do that.
That is time.
My God, I timed that well.
Yeah. Well done. Good round, guys. Good round. I do want to give a shout, not to give the appearance of bias, but I do want to give a shout out to Star Trek for being the first TV show to say full-throated trans rights matter. You know, so.
Star Wars didn't do that.
Well,
They just wrote it into their books and their TV shows and acted like it was a natural thing.
When?
Interested in learning more about that. All right.
Witches, I
Well,
remember.
we're going ahead and
Republic.
get on with the questions here momentarily, more with the questions. But first, Stormy, it is your turn. Let's torture our contestants here with some trivia.
Okay, so the trivia questions. This one,
Not going to get it right.
okay, so the first one is to Jay.
Okay.
What is the proper name of the Gorn homeworld?
Not a fucking clue. I don't think I must.
I will accept the star system or any of the variants of the ancient names of the Gorn homeworld.
I probably should have watched Strange New Worlds a little bit more carefully, shouldn't I?
Somebody should have.
Cornian. Don't give the answers in the thingy, by the way. Let us at least answer. I don't know. Gorn homeworld. I don't know.
Harris, do you want to take a stab at it for double points?
Gorntopia. Don't give it to me if it's right, because I'm just laughing because that's what Sarah's.
It is a Gornar. It is Gornar. G-O-R-N-A-R.
Yeah, no, I said that. Remember, that was the first thing I said. So I said Gornar.
It circles the star Tau Lacertae. Yeah.
No, did not know a fucking clue.
Okay, all right.
The second month, Florida.
So the next question will go to Harris. Do you want to do something else, Greg, and then get back to Harris, or just go to Harris now for the second?
No,
Let's go to Harris. Let's go. Let's put him on the grill here. Gonorrhea. Bob has stolen the point. Bob gets the point for the round.
See,
Bob's in the
this
lead.
proves there's fun in Star Trek. Okay, so Harris, how old was Anakin when he won his first Boonta Eve prize?
11 or 9.
No.
6,
No.
5,
probably
4, 3, 2, 1.
10.
Okay.
10.
I was
Oh,
like,
man.
I thought it was 10, but I went around it.
No.
I get half a point or 1 point for the
Savage.
No, you don't get any points.
Savage
All right.
round there.
Stormy,
Savage
your
round.
questions are gonna be-
Stormy, you are choosing violence with your questions, sir. Holy shit.
All it does, they're insane.
Oh,
All we
man.
get
No,
for-
what's the
We get
registry of
for-
the Enterprise or anything in this one, is there?
No. This is fuck you. This is esoteric here. That's what this I respect. Like I feel like I have to bust out my technical manuals to know what you're gonna do. So
This is payback for all the shit I had to endure for Rings of Power.
okay. I had nothing to do with that. If you're ever asking trivia on something I'm on, I'm out.
We need a
all
Tom
right.
Bombadil hat now.
Oh, he's switching it up. Here we go. All right. Well, now we're on to round 2 of the questions. Round 2 here. Jay, you are. Let's see. Who went first last time? Suddenly, I'm having Harris brain. Yeah. Okay. So Jay, you're gonna go first. Which franchise tells better, more impactful stories, and how? You have 2 minutes. Go.
We have episodes every so often in Star Trek that genuinely punch you between the eyes. But we'll focus on the ones that actually from the original series, maybe. So okay, I already mentioned that we had the first interracial kiss ever on TV. We then had an episode called, and I've got to remember what it's bloody called now. Oh, Let That Be Your Last Battlefield, which almost everybody will know about. And it was an episode where they basically had a race of people that were black on one side and white on the other with their skin color. And one of them had black on the wrong side and white on the other side, and he was trying to escape from being basically tortured and murdered. And that episode was not the most subtle, pointing out that basically racism is stupid. And this was a time where there were race riots going on in the United States of America. So that episode was completely on the nose of what was going on in America. And Star Trek has done that over and over again since. Deep Space Nine was when, we were at conflict following 9/11. and we were invading Afghanistan, invading Iraq. And again, Deep Space Nine was not subtle in the way that it dealt with a lot of those issues and made America subtly, through the use of metaphor, etc., look at itself in a mirror. I do wonder if Star Trek was still doing that now, what it would do. But you also then get episodes like The Pale Moonlight, In the Pale Moonlight, which is genuinely dramatic and makes you sort of go, what the hell did I just watch? I've never watched an episode of Mandalorian and come away going, well, that's really made me think, and there's layers to that, and I'm going to have to unpeel this. I might have to watch it again just to try and make sure I get every little moment of that, because it's not just good television. It's award-winning, impactful, different television.
All righty.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
I gotta get that.
Jay, thank you very much for that. Harris, same question. Which franchise tells better, more impactful stories, and how? Your 2 minutes starts now.
Well, Star Trek, of course, has its props for everything Jamie just said. But once again, I won't negate the other franchise to boost the other up like the High and Mighty does. So I will once again say why Star Wars is more impactful, because it tells lifelong stories. Yes, Star Trek tells beautiful stories that are meant to get something garnered from. But to just call Star Wars something that doesn't have any depth to it is completely and utterly false, and it does a disservice to film media in general, and the people that spent the thousands, tens of thousands of people over time that have spent their time, effort, and creativity on those projects. Because they are making projects that tell lifelong stories. These are for adults, but primarily for children, like George Lucas says. They're for 12 or 13-year-old boys, which means they're not the most science-based things in the world, but nobody ever says they are. So to bring that up over and over again it's a non-inquisitor. It's a non-sequitur in general. So Star Wars itself tells lifelong stories that inspire children. Tell them what to strive for. Give them good ideals. Tell them what the difference is between right and wrong, good and bad. And it tells those cautionary tales, like I mentioned in the opening statement, of, hey, the Jedi thought they were good this entire time, but they let that dogmatic sense do a little too much good, and look at where it got them. There is cautionary in the good, and nonetheless, it tells you to confront the bad head on and do your best no matter what with it. And the best way to confront those people head on is with friends and with people. There's no depth to that. There's no depth to telling people what good is in the world and trying to inspire them to do more good in the world. That's a disservice. It's a discredit to the entire genre and filmmaking in general, because Star Wars has done that better than just about any franchise on the face of this planet, and continues to do so, because I don't have to mention things from 50 years ago to try to tell you how people are being diverse nowadays. Star Wars does it on a daily basis with good
and that is your time, sir.
Star Trek Classic came out 75 years ago.
Yeah.
Even worse.
I don't know. I still like to rock old episodes of Doctor Who. I don't know about the rest of y'all. So
Thank you. Just saying.
all right. Cool. Stormy, lock and load, baby. Get them.
All righty. More violent questions for Jay. Jay, what was the first ship Janeway served on?
Oh, fuck.
You utter bag.
Stormy, you got to be like the worst at running bar trivia, man.
No one's getting drunk, or if you're missing a question,
everyone is getting violently drunk. It's more so.
Kirk's first ship was the Farragut. 1 point to me. I've not a clue, mate. Not a clue.
The USS Albatani.
Which episode was that set in?
You don't even know. Why do you care? You don't even know.
Because if it wasn't said in an episode, it's not canon.
All right, so Harris. These are all canon questions. Harris. When the mining companies of the Republic first gained interest in Tatooine, they found the ore was of low quality. Why was the ore rejected?
Because the planet had been glassed.
It had been what?
The planet had been glassed. The Tatooine was a luscious planet, and it's only a desert because it had been completely glassed and destroyed from the Old Republic time, which destroyed all of its natural resources and everything of the sort, including its ores. which makes dust and spice the primary thing on the planet nowadays.
No, it was actually because unexpected and unusual magnetic properties in the ore.
Yeah, I knew that.
This is before it was just totally destroyed.
Which is weird because Star Wars only is ever on Tatooine. We should really know everything about it. I should have known that.
Whew.
Okay,
Unusual magnetic properties. Now, you see, you were going someplace with the glass, but glass is not magnetic, and nor is it an ore.
Yeah.
Well, the glassing of the planet would have affected these things nonetheless, and probably played a part.
What wasn't it Mandalore that was glassed? Just out of curiosity.
Mandalore was glassed in modern times. Tatooine is the way it is because of it. The Jawa and the Tusken Raiders were the population that lived on the planet beforehand, and they were much more human-like back in the day. The Jawas not so much. They're a little like feral under their hoods.
What ship was Captain Picard first captain of? The Stargazer. 1 point to me.
2 points to Gryffindor.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Oliver, you are 100% correct. If anybody can answer one of Stormy's questions without Google, you automatically win. I'm just, yeah. Good God. Good God.
It's one more round to go. So, Greg,
let's
2 more rounds to go.
continue the mayhem, please.
Let the blood flow. Let the blood flow. All right.
Now, the last two trivia questions are easy. I'm giving you a little. It's easy.
Easy is relative.
I'm wrong. Captain Picard's first ship was definitely the Stargazer.
Yes. All right.
Captain of.
Well,
Anyway.
Harris, you get first swipe on this one. Which franchise has a brighter future today and why? Which franchise has a brighter future today and why? Harris, your time starts now.
I'm struggling with this one a bit.
Well, I think that's pretty simple, and I'll kind of pick up where I stopped with the last one, where the children are the bright future of all of us. That's what it is, and Star Wars is made for children and inspiring their future, and they're timeless stories. So whether or not you're 70s showing your kid for the first time, your grandkid for the first time, you can show them the original trilogy or the prequels, whichever order you want, and it still inspires them to do something better with their future. It inspires their future to be a little more genuine and hopefully friendly, and if not, approach that non-friendliness head on and do it in a friendly kind of way with kindness and reverence is what Star Wars tries to teach. Now, modern times, of course, haven't been perfect, but I don't have to reach back 50 to 75 years for examples of when these franchises were actually doing good, even 20 or 30 years. You know what? Acolyte was not a hit. I'll give you that all day. Not the biggest fan. Mandalorian Season 3, not the biggest fan. Of course, it kind of tickles my Clone Wars loving self a little bit because that's because I took the time and effort to go into the depth of Star Wars meaning and watch the Clone Wars itself, which is one of the best pieces of Star Wars there's ever been. Rebels as well. Now, that timelessness, I totally blanked on myself.
You got 34 seconds.
Okay, well, anyway, one way or another. Oh, Star Wars Acolyte. Okay, we don't have to go back 50, 40 years, 2015, whatever years. Acolyte wasn't a hit. Star Wars Mandalorian wasn't necessarily on fire. Andor, though, is depth. That gives you intricacy, what's going on with the world. Andor is something amazing. Mando Season 2. We don't have to wait 15 years for a good series. We get it every other year, whether it be animated or live action. Not every single one's a hit, but every year we have good Star Wars, nonetheless. And that's been a thing for a very, very long time, and it's not stopping anytime soon. Or Star Trek, that is definitely in debate.
And that is time. All right. Jay.
Fight against the children, dude.
Yeah.
I believe children are our future.
All righty, Jay. 2 minutes, same question. Yeah, and yes, these questions are incredibly speculative because essay questions make great debate questions. So, yep.
That's kind of the
Come
point.
out swinging at me. Let's go. Which franchise is a brighter future today and why? Jay, your 2 minutes starts now.
I'm going to use some of my time to explain to Sci-Fi Quest that anybody that's a commanding officer of a starship is called a captain, for one, and he was promoted during his time as commander of the Stargazer to captain. So, thank you. Anyway, neither of these these franchises are in the greatest health at the moment. But we just had Picard Season 3, which was one of the highest rated sci-fi shows ever. It was on the Nielsen top of the rating pretty much its entire run. Strange New Worlds has won several awards and is generally considered to be a great show, even though we do have to put up with things like Rhapsody. The end of Discovery was good. I'm not going to say more than good. I'll go with it started badly, but I think we have Lower Decks, which is coming to an end, but is genuinely brilliant. We have Prodigy, which is genuinely a really good quality show. We have new owners coming in, though, at Paramount, which know what they've got with Star Trek. You've got Catherine Kennedy, and she ain't going nowhere. We've got new owners coming through that have given this chance to maybe have a little bit of a reimagining and a stop and think about the Star Trek future. We have new movies coming. We have things like the Section 31 movie, which is terrible, but some people might like it. Star Wars has genuinely struggled for quite a while. And I'm sorry, other than Andor, which I did enjoy, even though it was god boring. It was so hard to watch at times. And the first season of Mandalorian, the rest of Star Wars has really been a struggle. The last 3 movies were bloody awful. I'm sorry, even that we had one that was then like a screwball comedy. It was just bad. And the prequel trilogy were almost as bad. Worse in some ways. So I'm sorry, Star Wars has not been at the top of its game for decades.
And that is time. Wonderful. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you. Stormy, get him.
This is the last round of the trivia questions. And we will start out with Jay, because he's doing so well. This is the easier question, Jay. You've got to get this. Come on.
NCC 1701. Yay, win!
Bradward Boomler was raised on what kind of a farm? Boomer was raised on what kind of a farm?
Boomer was raised on a farm. I thought Boomer was raised on a starship.
Are you talking about Boimler from Lower Decks? Bradward
yeah.
Boimler?
Boimler. Oh, shit. No, I know this. Wait, I know this. It was grapes, wasn't it? No. Oh, it was a type of grape. Blueberries, or I can see them picking it. Shit.
He's so close.
I was going to say berries. There's some sort of berry. Oh, grapes. It was a grape farm.
I got to give it to him because, yes, it is raisins, and raisins come from grapes.
Grapes, that's it. Raisins. Grapes, they make raisins. Because they joke about sucking all the moisture and the life out of them. That's it. That's it.
Glad you were paying attention to at least something in Star Trek.
Boom from Enterprise. I thought you said it.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Awesome. Harris.
Okay. Harris.
I got a point.
On the planet of Stujan, who is its most famous resident?
Stujan? Oh, damn it. It's a joke name. Stujan is 2 different writers' names put together to make a planet. I know that part. Can I get a half a point? Because I don't know who the hell's on it off the top of my head. Stujan. It's not like Quinlan or Ayla or someone like that. Stujan. It's a bigger character that was like just needed a planet to be from. It's not Obi-Wan's not Stujan.
Are you sure?
I'm gonna go with Obi-Wan then.
All righty, a point for everybody.
You can't do that. Why don't you just give it on the
Is that your final answer?
That's my final answer.
Solo.
Rings of power, assholes.
It's okay, Jay. I gave you the assist too, so I think 1 and 1 is fair. So,
yeah.
All right.
And I worked my way into it. Like I was finding my way there. I did suggest.
I mean, Jay definitely worked his way through it. He was in blueberries, and I guess he was going to go into wheat futures.
I knew it was grapes or something, but I was like, but it's not grapes because it's something. I've forgotten the raisin bit.
Yeah. Love it. All right, guys. Round number 4. Debaters, this is a free-form round. I recognize that we're going to have a final state your case round, but this I want to give you guys a little bit more open free reign here without being saddled with feeling like you have to counter other arguments. So, debaters, Freeform round. Make your case as to why your chosen franchise is better and why. How did I forget who went first last round? Jay, you're first this round. Yeah.
Well,
No.
Harris?
First.
Good. You're first this round. Thank you.
Okay.
I'm enjoying watching you guys squirm so much on these trivia questions. It Jedi mind wipes me or mind melds me out of it. So, yeah.
We keep giving these in-depth answers, fighting back to back on these things, and then these quiz questions just sweep the ring
just
out.
up in the apple cart. It's pretty amazing.
It destroys your ego. That's my goal.
Immediately.
Love it. All right, Harris. It is Harris. You go first. Here you go. Your time starts now.
All right. So, I mean, I feel like I've given a pretty good reasoning why Star Wars is better overall. And for the same reason why most of the time the opposition here has to make a comment about comments or fight and degrade the next thing possible. Because you know what? Star Wars doesn't try to be high and mighty or better than thou or anything like that. It truly meets you where you're at as a person and can be experienced differently at every stage of your life. And you get something out of it, which talk about the lack of depth. What? No, that's a lifelong story that you can get something from any point of your life. You don't need to be 25, been through college or in college, in university, studying to be a scientist. I love that Star Trek inspired so many scientists. That's amazing. Star Wars inspires people across the globe of all backgrounds, all shapes, sizes, colors, creeds, everywhere. Star Wars is for you, it's for me, it's for everyone. And that alone makes it better. It doesn't have that gate-kept area. You don't need to feel like, oh, well, maybe if I didn't know this, I can't go watch that, you know? And, Star Trek can be an inter-level thing, but it's just not. It tends to be far more jaded, and it has taught Star Wars how to be jaded over time, where Star Wars is the thing that, like Jay said in his opening statement, props Star Trek to be a thing that's still on TVs nowadays. And Star Wars gave Star Trek its longevity and is giving most sci-fi, whether Star Wars is sci-fi itself, it gives sci-fi longevity itself. And that is something that is so good for not just Star Wars, Star Trek, sci-fi in general. Star Wars is the better case. It is the better future. Because it's for kids and it inspires that future. I could keep going on all day, but I don't want to necessarily just negate and degrade the other side. And it does that for itself.
That you're at your time, sir. So, yep.
It's debate. That's the point.
Yeah.
I debate like a gentleman. Try to.
All righty. Jay, your time starts now.
As I've said a couple of times, Star Trek is actually sci-fi, whereas Star Wars isn't. And that's just a simple point. When we're talking about the debate question is, which is the daddy of sci-fi? It's Star Trek.
Which is best. These are the two largest franchises. Which is best?
Sci-fi. And I'm making the argument that Star Wars isn't sci-fi. Star Trek is more entertaining. It has humor in it at times. Star Wars doesn't particularly. It's more thought-provoking. It makes you think. Star Wars doesn't. It just happens. And there's no layers to it. There's no moral to the story. It's basically just a retelling of the Seven Samurai, and that's all it is in space. It's influenced society. It's influenced modern culture. It's influenced Star Trek. Has influenced everything. And to make the point, Star Trek did come first. Star Trek was in the 60s. Yes, I will admit that the popularity of Star Wars allowed the motion picture to be made. But to say that Star Wars has added to the longevity is not true. Star Trek got made because the original series was ahead of its time and got cancelled, but it was still being shown almost in a loop on some of the networks in the United States. It was still considered to be great sci-fi. It was still talked about, or it would have been forgotten about. Star Wars, the popularity of Star Wars might have given it its chance to rebirth, but it did not add to its longevity. Star Trek has had 7 seasons, 7 different series since the original series, spawned nearly 20 movies, 3 cartoon series. All of this has added to its longevity, not Star Wars.
And
the
that is time.
Alone nearly killed
and that is time. And I will say, not to give the appearance of bias here or anything, but Star Trek is also the only franchise with a musical episode. So,
if you ignore the holiday special, didn't they sing in that?
oh fuck, I completely forgot. Okay, so no, I'm incorrect there. Thank you. Jay is like, don't besmirch my franchise with that shit.
All right,
Stormy,
get excuse to remind people about the holiday special.
Oh God, real quick story here. My brother got me a bootleg copy of the holiday special one year for Christmas. Gave it to me. He's like, "Hey, you'll love this." So my friends, when I first moved to LA, my friends would have like an annual Christmas party. And one year it was bring the DVD of your favorite holiday special. So people brought the He-Man Christmas special. They brought the Rankin and Bass cartoons and everything. I brought the Star Wars holiday special. We put that on about 2 hours into this party, and everybody left. It killed the party. Like everybody left. Yeah, because what is this stuff with B. Arthur and Wookiees cooking and no, who knows? Yeah,
you said it was bootleg. I thought it was going to be something entirely different for a second. I was like, oh god.
Oh no! It was a legit bootleg, and I had never beheld it before, and like you couldn't get high enough to watch this, So yeah,
this is not Star Wars.
Well, you probably could. I couldn't.
There was a He-Man Christmas special.
Yeah, there was. It wasn't Christmas, but it was like a He-Man holiday special. Yeah, absolutely.
There's a holiday special for everyone.
Skeletor tries to steal Christmas like the Grinch. It was really crazy.
I need to go start harvesting peyote or something out here. That just horrifies me to.
Yeah, well, you're going to search for it on YouTube.
Yeah, but everybody needed content for December back in the day, so they had to do something thematic. Yeah.
We did the same over here.
All righty, Stormy, they're all yours. Be gentle.
All right, so we'll start with Jay. This will be the same question for both. Jay, you got 2 minutes. If Greg, if you could set the timer when I'm done. Jay, who had the best villain?
Ooh, there you go.
The thing about Star Trek is it constantly reinvents itself, and there are several. But the Borg is probably one of the greatest villains in sci-fi sort of ever. And that's the thing, going up against the Klingons were a villain at one point, the Romulans were, but the Borg were genuinely terrifying. And they only got more terrifying as the movies went on, even though you could argue they're kind of stupid in some ways. But they represented a villain that just couldn't be stopped. And that's always terrifying. You think about like Jason or something like that. These villains that slowly just walk towards you, and there's nothing you can do to stop them. It's scary, It's like that thing like if you're waking up in the night and your house is being invaded. That's one of the most terrifying things that scares me. So I've got big ass locks and a camera at my front door. The Borg are like that. They're the thing that comes in the night, and they're your worst nightmare because there's nothing you do. Whatever you do, they defeat you. Oliver Valerius just come up and said Khan, so that's not a bad shout either. That's the thing with Star Trek, though. They've got so many great villains over decades of the show that it's really hard to pick one. The Ferengi was supposed to be a villain at first. That didn't work. I'm going to go with the Borg. They were properly terrifying.
You talk about terror. One that I thought was the most manipulative was Moriarty from Next Generation.
Yeah, and again, a brilliant villain.
Yeah, and is wonderfully played. The actor was just
he's perfect. Going back to Picard Series 3, he was perfect as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you've got to remember, the Borg are barely in TNG, but there's several really good villains in TNG. The Borg are only in like 5 or 6 episodes over 7 seasons.
Yeah, and they proved to be so popular that they became the bugaboo for Voyager and then all of Picard. So.
Yep.
All righty.
Bugaboo.
Yeah.
Harris, I guess it's up to you now.
Best villains or
who had the best villain?
Your time starts now, sir.
Pressure's on.
Was there even a timer on that last one?
Yeah, there was a 2-minute timer, and he had 30 seconds left.
Well, I don't need 2 minutes to say who's the most iconic villain that there literally has ever been Darth Vader. And then that's not to mention that there's Darth Sidious, Emperor Palpatine right behind him, which arguably is the second most popular and most iconic villain ever. And then behind them is Grand Moff Tarkin, who doesn't have the powers of the other two, but still manages to be in a room and hold power and charisma and command the way he does. That's generational kind of evil right there, and it stood the test of time for a reason. We get into prequels. We got Dooku and we got frickin' General Grievous. Those are the definition of iconic. And they all have just, I mean, they're terrifying. Dooku has this poise that is absolutely terrifying, played by the great Christopher Lee. And, you know, I love a lot of the actors that have worked with Star Trek that are absolutely amazing. But Star Wars has Christopher frickin' Lee. Sorry. Case in point, done. Mic drop. Anyway, he's Count Dooku. Like, Count Dooku is amazing. General Grievous is the most terrifying monstrosity of a thing that just rips Jedi apart, rips people that aren't Jedi apart even quicker. Sidious, Vader, Tarkin, y'all know the deal. Death Star, they got any kind of weapon at their disposal. If we want to talk about this entity that is undefeatable coming in, think about the Yuuzhan Vong. Or if we bring it to modern Disney, Grisk are the modern equivalent of the Yuuzhan Vong. But in Star Wars The Clone Wars, Yuuzhan Vong had an arc that did get deleted, but is technically still partially canon. So they're there somewhere. Which, you know, I love that Star Trek was able to get the Borg as like their central villain, but Star Wars has always had a central villain. I don't think it's a question which is the more iconic villain holding franchise.
And that is time.
You didn't mention Jabba the Hutt. I'm so disappointed.
Yeah. And Darth Vader is the most terrifying villain with asthma ever.
Yeah.
I mean, it's terrifying.
I would argue that Vader it has been turned into an anti-hero more than a villain these days, you know? Because so I don't know.
Well, he has a villainous period, one way or another.
Yes,
he did have a villainous period. Oh,
yeah.
It was a brutal 20 years. Yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah, Darth Maul and Savage Crest. Yeah,
my two favorites outside of Dooku, I didn't even mention. There's just so many good ones, and Jabba. I can keep going.
Alrighty. Well, hey, now we're in a lightning round here, real quick. The lightning round I've got is how many catchphrases, memes, or other cultural touchstones from your franchise of choice can you name or can you throw out in 30 seconds, and we'll count them for points here. All right. Harris, you're gonna go first.
Okay.
Are you ready?
30 seconds.
And go.
McClunky, Wizard, Han shot first. May the Force be with you. These are not the droids you're looking for. Hello there.
hello there.
Hello there. Each time he says hello there, there's Clone Wars. There's no. There are 4 different separate ones. Just to separate that.
Time.
Okay.
You're seriously like Luke? I am your father was not
There's
like number
too many.
1.
My brain was going.
You lose. You lose, sir.
I've got a bad feeling about this.
Yeah.
Here we go again.
Yeah. This is where the fun begins.
Secular monk touchdown, dude.
Back door, huh? Good idea. You know, I mean, yeah, so many good, but I will never forget.
You can't write them down. I just did these off the top of my head. Flip that page over.
I gave you the questions last night.
No, I still did it off the top of my head, though. Flip that page over.
Yeah, you fool. All right, Jay, hopefully you're coming in a little bit more prepared here. All right, 30 seconds. Your time starts now.
Shut up, Wesley. Beam me up, Scotty. Make it so. A million Janeway and coffee memes. A million red shirt memes. Jeffrey Combs is everyone, and everyone is Jeffrey Combs. The Riker and Picard dad jokes. There's a billion of them. Mm-hmm. Resistance is futile. Damn it, Jim, I'm a doctor, not a medicine man. Damn it, Jim, I'm a doctor, not an engineer. Damn it, Jim, I'm a doctor and every other damn thing. In the name of the Empire, which is a very funny thing to say, whatever your last text was, put in the name of the Empire afterwards.
And that is hilarious.
Vulcan sign.
Okay, I did not know that we could read off of something. I have 75 Star Wars quotes on a tab right here I can read off in 30 seconds, if need be.
You had your time,
You
bro.
had your chance,
I did it off the top of my head, like
had
someone
your
who
round.
actually loves the
your-
franchise.
Hey,
we're
I
talking
gave you the
about.
I gave you the
Not
opportunity to come correct, man. I gave you the, you wanted.
I try to do it honestly and
You wanted
in a
to raw
fun
dog it,
way,
dude. That's
and not
fine.
just try to like.
I gave you the question yesterday.
And I know, but I didn't know we were allowed to read off of. If I could read Star Wars quotes, I got a tab right here. Yes, I came up with it off the top of my head.
The time
it's
is
not. It's memes, though, isn't it? As well, it's like memes and stuff.
Jay gets I counted 12 that he dropped in the 30 seconds already. So
there's one that Jay kind of missed. It was "Let's get the hell out of here." That was Kirk talking to Spock in the City of the Edge of Forever.
Oh yeah.
And that was like one of the first swear words on television.
Oh God, I forgot about that.
Right? Yeah.
Jay.
Damn it, language.
See,
It's like the Federation.
I didn't even get as far as Space: The Final Frontier. I didn't even get that far.
No. Oh man, and opening monologue, absolutely. All right, so that is it for me. Stormy, you got any last before we go into closing statements? You got anything else to drop on them?
I've got 6 more Star Wars versus Star Trek questions.
All right, go for it. Get them.
All right, Harris. Who has the best sidekick? You want to go for? Hey, before you start, Greg, do you want to go for 30 seconds so we don't spend 10 hours?
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize these were essay format. Okay, yeah, I got you. 30 seconds. Here you go. And Harris, go.
Best sidekick, literally Anakin and Luke are sidekicks at a certain point. Yoda, Obi-Wan are sidekicks at certain points. Everybody that is a main character has been a sidekick, which by definition just makes them badass sidekicks. And then you want to start mentioning R2, C-3PO, Ahsoka Tano. You want to mention any and every Jedi Padawan ever? I don't even need to finish.
Who's the best? The best. Who's the best?
Huh?
Which is the best? Not.
Who is the best? You want a singular answer?
Who do you think is the best independent? So apparently everybody, but I was always thinking R2-D2.
Oh, I would say Chopper. If I'm sticking with a singular one, I would put Chopper.
I would have said Chewie,
but more violent.
I would have said Chewie, but the large hairy guy, I don't know. It resonates.
Hey, Zeb too. The original Chewie. Zeb. Badass.
For Jay.
Jay.
All right.
Who is the best sidekick?
I'm going to argue that sidekicks are kind of stupid, and Star Trek doesn't really have sidekicks. But if I'm going to use the term sidekick quite loosely, I'm going to go 7 of 9 because it's Jerry Ryan, and I don't give a crap what anybody else says. She's lovely, and she was kind of sidekicky in a way because she was learning and trying to become more human. So she bounced off other characters quite a lot in some of the speech. So I'll go 7 of 9, but that's just because I love her very much. But we don't have sidekicks. Star Trek's grown up. Doesn't have sidekicks.
I would have said Spock.
I literally I haven't watched Star Trek. I would have said Spock.
He's not a sidekick.
Yeah.
Spock even so
he's a main character role on his own.
Sidekick, and
Bones, you could argue
actually
Bones maybe a
Spock's
sidekick.
It was
Bones, you could argue is a sidekick.
I will say that I walked the picket line with Jerry Ryan during the last strike on multiple days, and she is a lovely human being. So
good for you.
Yes, I bet she is.
Good for you supporting the writers. I'm proud of you.
Fine actress.
Yeah,
I love her.
All right, Stormy, get him.
Okay, so Harris, of all of the alien foods, which is the best?
Oh boy,
Shit, what's it called?
your time starts now.
Well, I love me some Star Wars, but I don't know if I want Andor blue milk cereal anytime soon. Space food is the best. That delicious meal that Obi-Wan had in Attack of the Clones with Dexter Jex. When he enters the diner and is talking to him and hanging out. I don't know.
You don't know.
That's time.
All right. Yeah,
Easy.
I know which one is best,
Yeah.
but do you?
Pizza the
Well,
Hut.
first of all, I'm
Legit.
gonna say, I want Romulan ale. I genuinely want Romulan ale. I want a drink that fucks people up that badly. It looks awesome. But the best food, and I want a bit of gach and things, is Klingon food. I like food that wriggles and tries to escape, and you can't argue with that. So pretty much anything the Klingons ate was the best food, and they again, from a show point of view, they had the Klingons saying, well, okay, what would the Klingons eat? And they really thought it through. Because you're like, yeah, that's Klingon food. That's what they would eat in real life. So yeah,
there you go.
And in Deep Space Nine, Esri Dax is explaining how the different varieties of gawk. Like one of them have feet. But I'm thinking,
blood wine, Sarah. Yeah, blood wine. I want blood wine in my life.
Oh, Roctagino.
Yeah. But one I thought was it seemed like everybody liked it, and that was Hospira. Regardless of whatever alien race she was, everybody loved them some Hospira. So I was thinking Hospira.
Yeah, Klingon.
Absolutely. The Gachshak. I love that. That would be what I would name my Klingon eatery on the promenade. The Gachshak. All right,
Harris. 30 seconds.
Okay.
Who had the best spaceship for a family vacation?
Ooh,
spaceship for a family vacation. Okay.
Star Wars. That's easy. But if we're choosing the exact spaceship, the Millennium Falcon doesn't get much better. But you got options as well. I mean, we want to talk some bounty hunter ships. We've got Mando's ship. We've got not the new one, not the Naboo Starfighter, of course. We have his the first one. We have his we have Boba Fett Slave 1, et cetera, et cetera. And we're talking about a family trip, so something that you can walk around and have some space to yourself, but not have so much of a spaceship that you're going to get lost everywhere. It's an intimate. We're talking about a family vacation, and I'm going with Millennium
that is
Falcon.
time. My alarm is not going off for some reason. Here we go.
Wait, one thing, the Millennium Falcon, it has a cloak closet.
Is that a Lego D? That is a Lego D.
Lego D, man. All right, so Jay, who had the best spaceship for a family vacation?
I've been on many family vacations, and the D wins for me because it's big enough I can escape my children, and it's got holodecks. And so I just you send the kids off to go look at the dolphins, which there are loads of on here, or go to get drunk in 10 Forward, and I would just spend all my time on the holodecks doing the stuff that people would actually do on the holodecks. So the D, but actually
that's like work charges by the hour.
Any Star Trek ship, to be honest.
All right, we're winding
That's
down.
not the question. We're talking about the ship you would bring on. Not the ship you would vacation on. What ship would you bring to a vacation to family?
Now, which is the best ship for a holoday vacation? The one with holodecks, so Daddy doesn't murder the children.
The key thing I think to defend Jay is like the one you can run away from your children, and the D being so big.
I can escape.
I really shouldn't have said the D was so big.
Yep.
That has all sorts of other connotations. So let's ignore that. So Harris. What was the absolute worst hero in Star Wars?
Jar Jar. Jar Jar Binks. What's got me?
Jar Jar's not a hero. That dude is literally the reason Sidious has power. He's an accidental villain. He's an accidental villain in a lot of ways.
It made him a general.
Sorry, question one more time is the what?
Who's the absolute worst hero?
Oh, worst hero? What's the actor's name? The dude from Squid Game's an Acolyte. Acolyte. Sorry.
All right.
I thought he's more of a criminal, but okay.
Star Wars
has people like Han Solo too, and he is also a criminal. So if we want to be technical about it.
So we threw Harris got thrown a hard one there. So Jay, the absolute worst hero in the Star Trek universe. Go.
I'm going to go with Wesley Crusher. I hated that little shit. He's the most hateful character in TNG. I went to a convention once, and they had a question thing, and they said, "Who's the most hated character in Star Trek?" And literally everybody shouted, "Shut up, Wesley!" all at the same time. It was a beautiful moment. It made me cry. He is the most Weasley little shit, but he saves the Federation several times, so he is a hero.
Okay.
That's
We're
the
down
Will
to our
Wheaton
last
character,
two.
right?
Huh?
That's the Will Wheaton character, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Love Will, hate Wesley.
Coming down to the last two. So, Harris, which franchise has the most probable technology? This is you, Harris.
Well, Star Trek in that sense, yeah.
Thank you. I don't have to answer. Next.
Well,
I mean, if you're going to cede your time. Yeah.
all right, so Jay.
Next question, he's answered it for me. It's Star Trek. And I told you in the debate questions, it's Star Trek.
Do you yield your time?
Yeah, next question.
All right.
I
So here's
win.
the last one. Here's the last one. And we should probably give a little bit more time for this because we're wanting to get down to the bottom, the nitty-gritty of their soul on this question.
Okay.
Which
give you
franchise would you like to live in and why?
All right. I'm going to give you guys 1 minute on this, okay? Who's going first?
I'll go first.
All right, Jay. It's all you.
Holodecks. Star Trek, done. There's no hunger. There's no poverty. There's no other things that are bad in Star Trek, or in the Federation at least. You've got holodecks, you've got replicators, so you can eat whatever the hell you like, drink whatever the hell you like, and have sex with whatever the hell you like. If they're allowed to do that on holodecks, probably.
They are quarks.
And yeah, it would just be a nice place to live. In Star Wars, you've got the Republic, which are a bunch of hippies, and then the dark side, which everyone actually seems to support, trying to kill you every 5 minutes. And everybody is obsessed with Tatooine, which is a desert planet. Star Trek, you can get out and about in Star Trek. You can't in Star Wars. So yeah, no, Star Wars. The Star Trek, the technology is just better. It would make life awesome.
All right.
Nicer.
Awesome. Harris.
See, I don't need to live in some false reality. I like the real world, and I like to actually interact with human beings and people around me, and cool aliens and things like that. I don't need to go sit in a holodeck and spend all my time just Ready Player Oneing myself into being the guy that turns out in Wall-E. I don't want to end up like the rest of us, because Star Trek, realistically, they're all going to end up like Wall-E in a couple of years. So I'm going to use the freaking Force, and I'm going to go hang out in the Star Wars world and get to use magic freaking powers. Screw the science fiction at that point. I'm magic powering it around. And while doing so, I'll help some people out. I'll do some fun things. You know, I can go see the world because it's much larger than just Tatooine. There are multiple galaxies to go around to. Really not easy to get to the other ones. Huh?
Tell George Lucas that.
Well,
They seem to be very obsessed with Tatooine.
Tatooine has only been used in 4 of these films. The other ones, the other sand planets, aren't even the ones you're thinking about. That's Geonosis and other ones. Anyway, my time, sir.
TV series.
Oh, well, damn it.
Oh, it ran out.
So,
I literally had half my time taken up by the opposition.
I did.
Harris, loved the idea he wanted to be the Force kind of user and use the Force in all other ways. I just want to say, Order 66.
Well, we never specified what time period of Star Wars we're in, so I'm just kind of generalizing.
There are Jedi which have magic space wizards, but everybody can use the technology in Star Trek. That's all I'm saying.
Everybody can use the Force too. It just takes some training. Literally, that is been canon since day one. Luke doesn't even realize he has it till he's an adult.
So everybody can do it. It doesn't matter when you've got those little bugs in your cells, and if it's a high count, everybody can use it.
If it's a high count, you're more apt to be able to do it naturally. If it's a lower count, you can be trained to do it nonetheless. Okay. Sabine Wren and Mando and Ahsoka. And Rebels.
All right.
Let's get a phaser and blow your brains out.
All righty. So, Stormy, we have closing statements, or you got more?
That is it. That's all the mayhem I can create for this. Yeah.
All righty.
Don't you remember Broom Kid?
Well, then in that case, we are at closing statements. So, gentlemen, it's time to make your final arguments as to why your franchise is the superior franchise. Harris, we're going to go on ahead and start with you. All righty, your 2 minutes.
Aren't I the final one for this one in order wise?
I count first.
Yeah.
Got it. All right, Jay. Then in that case, we'll flip it around. Jay,
I don't want to go first on this one because whoever goes last is remembered, but I'll do it.
All right, well, make an impact, baby. All right, here you go. You got 2 minutes. Your time starts now.
Harris hasn't really made an argument for Star Wars at all. He didn't make any specific examples, whereas I did. He didn't tell you actually why a lot of the time, and when he was asked a question, he talked about it's a disservice to the people that created the show. So he talked about not wanting to degenerate to take the piss out of the other side of the argument. It's the point of the debate. He talked about lifelong stories. What the hell does that even mean? I talked about actual real life inspiring science that is then caused or created part of the world that we live in today. I've talked about inspiring whole generations with a positive outlook and humanity being the best it can be. But I've also been able to make actual specific examples to support my argument. Harris didn't do that, which I think points to the fact that he didn't have an argument. You didn't. You talked about good and bad and it being for children and a very simplistic black hat, white hat crap. Star Trek has nuance to it. It doesn't have necessarily good versus evil. It has reason and layers that are more realistic to actually like the political landscape we live in at the different times of Star Trek. Children are our future, and that's great. Get them to watch Star Trek because they won't just enjoy it, they'll actually learn something from it. And then they can buy the Lego Star Trek models because they're cool as well. So Star Trek's got everything Star Wars has got, but it's actually got some depth and it's actually got a real impact on society that Star Wars does only through its toy line, basically. I concede the rest of my time.
Damn. All righty. Harris, your rebuttal. Your time starts.
You can rewind all day and actually go back in my actual responses, which gave examples every single time. I literally gave you examples of where we don't have to go back 60, 70 years. High Republic has the diversity that you're talking about right now in modern day, or where you're doing it. Whatever you want to bring, I have the exact specific examples to go back all day, every day. They are there in Star Wars. And, like, legitimately, that is to say there's no depth at all and it's just black or white, good or bad. Literally, the main villain, the most iconic villain in history, Darth Vader, is not your black and white bad guy. He starts off as the worst thing ever and has to be redeemed through fatherhood, through these. There's in depth everything to Star Wars. To say it's not in depth is disgusting, and yes, it's a disservice.
You said it.
It's a disservice, and honestly, that's frustrating, especially as an actor and someone that wants to be in this industry and spends the time of that. That is awful. That's
desperate.
That is no, it's not desperate. It's desperate from your end. That's like legitimately you have nothing to stand on, no basis. There's high and mighty bullshit spewing from over there, and it's just not real. That's Star Trek is just so vitriolous and has nothing but vitriol to offer to anybody else. It doesn't inspire anything, or we wouldn't be in the situation we're at now within the world we're at. Like, literally, the world is so angry right now, and that's inspired a good generation of people to do a bunch of good stuff, or is it just inspired a bunch of angry people? Star Wars it's supposed to bring hope to children. That is depth. Whether you want to just blanket it or not, that is depth. Hope is good, man.
Yeah, you were the one that said it was basically good versus evil and black and white, not me.
To simplify the one thing, cool. There's much more depth to that. And if you rewind, did I say there's more to it than that? There are literal the elements of Star Wars that make it Star Wars.
Your little answer to the question was that
all righty. And here we go. That is time.
Oh, thank God.
Oh, valiant efforts, both
again.
of you. Congratulations. Now, please shake hands, kiss, and make up. You guys, that was that is our debate. Chat, it is now on to you. We are going to put a poll up. Is it going to be on this video? It's going to be a separate post on YouTube, but we're going to put a poll up. What I want you to do is get on there and let us know which side you believe made their case better and which is the superior franchise.
And why is it Star Trek?
Yeah, and we are turning this over to you guys now. So this is Epic Rap Battles of History level shit here. Who won? Who's next? You decide.
That's actually great.
Nice.
It is now in the community page right now, and I will also put it on the next thing permanently.
Yeah. As soon as I get in the lead, can we end the poll, please?
Well, that's what we always do. That's what every single debate has always been, and with 3-1 Star Trek focused around here, we'll see who actually comes up out on top. I'm not worried.
All right. Well, gentlemen, that was a wonderful, robust, wild debate. Thank you so much for your time and your passion on this today. This has been a real pleasure, and it has been a pleasure hosting for y'all. I like to think that I've shown equal amounts of bias in favor. So. Yes, Stormy, thank you so much for your absolute brain-breaking trivia. Holy crap, man. Absolutely wonderful.
Bastard.
Yeah. Love it. Awesome, folks. Well, I'm not quite sure how to wrap this up. This is my first time behind the wheel, so I'm going to offer to hand it off to our more experienced host here and bring this mother in for a landing.
Well, we're going to be back in about
that's right.
5
There's another
minutes
stream here happening very shortly, yeah?
to discuss this further. So see you then.
Yeah.
You just got time for a wee and get a drink. That's what I'm going to
The
do.
we is important.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
So take your bio break and come on back for round 2, y'all.
Sidetrack catheter time.
Just to say it here for us and for audience, I'll probably go ahead and start that stream since it was supposed to start 10 minutes ago, and we'll just have 3 or 4 minutes of just letting us go to the bathroom, get water, et cetera, then we'll bring it back. So it'll be live. Jump over. We'll be right there. Here we go.
Awesome.
See you in 2. Live long
All
and
right.
prosper.